You just bought a brand new refrigerator as part of your kitchen remodel, and guess what? You found out the hard way, the cord doesn't reach your old outlet. How is that possible? How was it that you just unplugged your old refrigerator and it reached the outlet, but the new ones don't? Well, that's what stinks about the newer refrigerators today. They don't give you long cords like they used to. Okay? So that's the problem we have here today. So today we're going to show you how to lower your refrigerator outlet down the wall to the point that now you can plug it in and reach. Hey everybody, Jeff here, and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time joining us, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below so you can come back and visit us. And make sure you hit the bell icon so that it will alert you every time we upload a new video. Because every week we upload all sorts of videos that help you with all different phases of your DIY remodeling and all the engineering disasters you're likely to face, such as this one today. So if you can look down here, you can see how the cord is coming out of the bottom of the refrigerator down here, and it's fairly short, and that's the way they do that with you. I don't know why they give you such small cords these days, okay? And of course, in a place like this where we're really modernizing it, as you can see, the problem is exacerbated by the fact that we're using this nice refrigerator panel here that we've put with all of our new cabinets. So when I installed these cabinets and I did the backsplash and put in the granite, we put this wall in here, this refrigerator wall, because if you look up here, we're doing a full depth cabinet here above the refrigerator. Now normally you'll see those cheapy little cabinets that only go 12 inches deep, but this is a full depth cabinet, and so because we're using a full depth cabinet, you got to have this wood wall here to support it. And so that creates a problem for you, because even if I move this refrigerator right up here, I'm still not going to have enough room to get the cord up to where it was. There's just no way. I wouldn't even be able to get back out. So how would you do it? So the only solution you have then is you got to move the outlet down the wall. So how far would you make it? Well, if we want it comfortably, I would say maybe 2 feet off the floor there is where you would have to move the outlet. But moving the outlet causes a whole bunch of other problems for you, because the outlet's here, but you need it to be down here. Now, here's the issue. Let's say the power line for the refrigerator comes from underneath. If it does, then you're in luck, because then you can easily move it down the wall. But if the power for this outlet comes from up above inside the wall, then you're in trouble, because what do? The thing terminates right inside the outlet there, and now you can't lower the outlet. But you can do it. There is a way, and we're going to show you how to do that today. So what we will do is we'll have to cut a slit down the wall, we'll put in a second outlet down here, and then we'll just run the wires down. Now what a lot of people will do is they'll cheat. They'll cover this drywall up and patch it, but that's illegal. That is against the National Electric Code, because the National Electric Code says you cannot have any hidden junctions inside the wall. You would have to do it inside here. So we would remove this outlet, do all the wiring that we needed in there, and create our extension romex cable down to the outlet, and then we have to put a plate on this outlet box here. Well, this electrical outlet box will need to have a plate on it. And knowing all the other stuff that the builder did wrong in here, we will also have to bond this metal outlet to the system ground, because a metal outlet, according to the National Electric Code, must be bonded to the system ground. All right, so let's go ahead and get started on that. Okay, so I'm going to show you here where it's covered, where it says that you can't have a hidden junction. So this is the National Electric Code. This is my 2017 book. So this is the latest code as of this year, and they update it usually every 3 years. So when we open it up here to the chapter that covers that, you're going to see right here, this is covered in chapter 314.29. It says right there, covers boxes, conduit bodies, and handhold enclosures must be accessible. Boxes, conduits, bodies, and handhold enclosures shall be installed so that wiring contained in them can be rendered accessible without removing any part of the building or structure or underground circuits, without excavating sidewalks, paving, earth, or other substance that is to be used to establish the finished grade. So this means that you have to have a plate, a blank plate over your outlet box. You can't just cover it because that wiring needs to be accessible. And not only that, electricians need to know where you terminated something, because if they have to come back and debug wiring later to find out why something's wrong, they need to find out where there is a connection that may have come apart, and how are they going to find it if it's behind the wall? They don't know where it is. They can't read your mind. All right, so I've got my voltage tester here, and as I move it around inside the box, here's the power terminal there, so I know that thing's electrified right now. So I have to turn this off at the electrical panel. Usually with the refrigerators, it's a dedicated 20 amp circuit. So I'm going to also, when I put the new outlet in, it's going to have the one with the cross on it so that we know it's a 20 amp, if there is a 20 amp circuit for this.
Yeah, go.
All right, so we've turned off the power, and I'm going to test it now. And so now we know that it's safe to undo this, so we can get inside there and see what's going on with all the wiring. All right, so now we're going to unscrew this outlet here and get it out of here. By the way, I just wanted to point out to you, this is the incorrect outlet for them to use. You're supposed to use the one that has the little notch over here, so it looks like a T, because that's what indicates it's a 20 amp circuit. So this is the outlet that I'm going to replace it with. See how it's got the little notch there that I told you about? And this one's also tamper-proof as well. So this is, as you can see on the package there, it is a 20 amp outlet. Tamper-resistant single outlet. So that's what we're going to put there. Okay, so I've pulled out the outlet here. And of course, right off the bat, I can see there's no ground. See, there's no ground anywhere on this outlet. Now, so the way they're getting their ground here is the ground wire comes in from above, and it's sort of they kind of wrapped it up and just jammed it against the inside of the box, which is not the best way to do it. But what they're relying upon is once you screw this in, and this metal frame from the outlet is now touching that metal frame, which is touching the ground wire back there, they say that you're grounded. My preference is to actually bond this box to the system ground. Now I ohmed it out, and it's okay, it's working. That's not my preferred method, and I'll tell you why. If you pull this outlet out off right now, there goes your ground, because you've separated it from the metal box. That's why I don't like that method of grounding. My favorite method of grounding, which is really probably what code says anyway, is bonding this to the ground. So you would take the ground wire that comes in, wrap it around the ground screw, and then have a pigtail that comes up here and grounds to your outlet. So the newer outlet that I'm replacing this with has a ground screw on it, because I don't like just connecting the outlet and up against the metal as a means of obtaining ground. Because if you ever remove the outlet for whatever reason and this is energized, you don't have a ground. You don't have a way to trip the circuit. Instead, you'll trip. Your heart will trip when you get shocked. Okay, I also wanted to point out too, you notice how they wrap the wire around the screw in the wrong direction here? And ironically, you flip over the outlet on the other side and they did the white wire correctly. It's supposed to wrap clockwise around the screw. Alright, so as we look here, so this red wire, this is our 20 amp wire that's coming from the fuse panel. So this is the line voltage here for this 20 amp outlet here for the refrigerator. So the white wire, what they did was they tapped into another line that's coming through here. See? And this is why I tell you too that, let me show you something. Alright, so take a look at this. This is why I tell you, you always want to use your little tester here and test the circuits in there. So even though we turned off power to this outlet, and you see there's no power there, right? That black wire back there, I'm willing to bet 100% has power on it. See? See how the thing lights up when the tester lights up? Let me get it at a better angle for you to see. See? So that's the reason why that's happening, is because they were using this box also as a feed through. So this is going to some other circuit. That's another circuit coming off of the fuse panel. So don't trick yourself into thinking that just because you turned off the switch at the panel for this outlet that there's no voltage going in there, because that's many times that's not the case. Okay, so you just have to be a little careful when you're moving around in here, you know. So what they did anyway from the outlet for the white wire, they tapped off of that other line that's coming through here, and that's fine. You share the common, the neutral there. And so luckily for us, if you look right here at the bottom, see that extra hole right there? There's another port at the bottom here that we can run romex cable down the wall somewhere down here to where we're going to hook up the other outlet, the new outlet. Okay, so we may not even have to tear open this wall at all. If I can run the cable down there, all I need to do is cut a hole down here where I'm going to put the new outlet box and just run the cables down. And hopefully we can do that without having to cut into the drywall at all. Okay, so just to recap, that red wire is the line voltage going to this outlet, the refrigerator outlet that comes off of the fuse panel. So when you go to the fuse panel, right? So when you go to the fuse panel and you hit that refrigerator switch right there, that turns off that red wire. Okay, so our strategy is we're going to take this blue box here. We're going to mount it down here on the wall, a couple of feet down the wall from the existing outlet. We're going to run that red wire. It'll continue on. We'll splice it with another wire and leave it in this junction box here so we don't have any hidden junctions. And we'll run the three wires, the new black, the white, and the ground. Will go down the wall. It'll pop out and it'll go into this outlet. All right, so let me show you what's going to happen. So the new outlet will then go into the box. It'll go something like that once we wire it up. And then we'll put this new plate over it and it'll look brand spanking new on the wall. Now I haven't decided yet if I'm going to use that plate or if I'm going to use this plate here, which is going to be metal. We'll have to see how it looks. So the white one is plastic. I'm not a fan of using plastic because they crack, but we have a pretty straight wall back there, no problems. And this is wider, so we'll see. And then for the, coming back over here to the outlet up top here, we'll remove that and everything will get replaced with this, it's a blank wall plate here. We have to have this wall plate on here because you can't have any hidden junctions. You can't just cover it up with something. You can't drywall over that. That's the National Electric Code. And man, that's one of the biggest violations we see whenever we deal with properties. One of the biggest violations is electricians that leave hidden junctions all over the place, particularly up in attics, where it's like that's the worst case scenario. That's the worst place. Okay, and then we're going to be using these ideal grounding pigtails. I usually buy these by the box, because in fact I've used up almost an entire box just on this one property. So anyway, these are what they look like. Just a piece of green grounding wire that wraps around the screw, and the screw bolts into the back of the outlet, which you will see in a minute. So I'll put a link down in the description below for where you can get these off Amazon. And so you always want to make sure you have these. These are very helpful to have, and make sure you always have one of these here too. You know, this is your fluke volt alert. This is the 2AC. This is the newer one. I like this one. And you always got to make sure you got your boar's head too, because you're going to get pretty hungry when you're doing this stuff here. So that's how I eat sometimes, on the fly. All right, so now here you have your ridiculously short power cable for the refrigerator. So how to determine where to put the box then is I usually like to put the refrigerator so it's about a foot or so outside of the area so that I know I can get in there. So all you got to be able to do is slip in there so that you can come and put this on the wall. So now that we know where to have it, we know we're not going to reach the old outlet because it just goes right here, right? And you don't want to have too much tension on it. So I figured if we could bring it somewhere down here, that leaves us with enough slack, see? on the refrigerator, and maybe even a little bit more. So I think we're going to put it about 24 inches up off the floor. So you mark the wall here, and you cut the hole for the outlet box. All right, so we've traced the outlet box onto the wall, and we're just going to cut it here with the utility knife. And so you can see it's just a couple of feet down the wall from the other one. All right, so we've cut out the hole here for the outlet box, and all we have to do is run the wire down to it, the 12. All right, so now as you can see, we have a little issue here because see, this box is pretty deep, but this hole, because it's up against cement block here, it's probably only 1.5 inches deep. So see, this would stick out like this. So we're going to have to get a smaller outlet box that isn't as deep, probably half as deep. They do make a couple of different sizes. Okay, so I started feeding the romex cable down the wall, and it now pops out the bottom there. That's about all we'll need. All right, so I've inserted this romex connector here. So you slide it on over the wire, and you put it right here, and you tighten it down with these two Phillips head screws here. So now it's tight and in place here, and it's sort of like a strain relief, and it keeps the romex held in place. And then we're going to insert it into the box from beneath, right where my finger is coming up in there. And then we'll screw it and secure it down with a nut that goes on it along the top. All right, so now you can see there, we've got the nut in place. So this romex is nicely secured now. Now we're just going to slice this open here and connect the right wires where they're supposed to go. Now we have completed the stripping of the wires here, and I went ahead and put a ground screw here right on the copper ground wire, and we're going to attach it right back here into the outlet in that spot right back there, so that this way we'll be able to run a ground all the way down here to where the outlet is going to be. There we go. So now we have our ground wire here is connected to the box. So everything's bonded together there now. Now we just have to connect up the white wire to the white wire and the black wire to the red wire. All right, so everything's connected up now. So let's do a quick review. We have the ground wire is connected to the metal box with the green screw, and the metal box is already bonded to the system ground by these little ground wires. I don't know if you can see them. See how that one ground wire comes down on that corner back there, and it attaches to there's a little ledge thing around the back there. So we're grounded, and now the red wire coming from the fuse panel is going to connect up to the black wire, and the two white wires connect up together, and then all three wires exit through the romex cable. They drop back down the wall, and they come back out here at the bottom. Okay, now coming back up and focusing on these here I was using my Wago lever nuts, wiring nuts here. And what's cool about these is you just stick the straight wire in and shut down the little trap door there, and it locks them into place. So this one here, there's actually 3 slots on there if I wanted to connect up a third wire. So you can use these, or you can use the standard wiring nuts where you twist the wire first and then you tighten up the wiring nut onto that. So this is now ready to tuck back into the box, and we'll patch up this hole real quick, let it dry, and then we'll put the outlet plate on there, the blank plate. So the upper part here should be done before long now. All right, so we've patched up the hole in the drywall, and we're just going to let this dry. We will sand it down, paint it, and then we'll put the blank plate on it, and then we'll be ready to come back down here and finish adding in the new outlet down below. Alright, so we have 2 possible solutions here of what we can do for the outlet here. And both of these are the same depth, so see how I got a box that's not as deep as the box we were looking at a minute ago. So this will fit all the way in there, and you can see that is now the perfect depth to have because it goes all the way in there. Now the only thing about the metal box compared to the plastic box, this adds a lot more work for you because there's a few things you have to do here with these metal boxes. The only way to support this box and to get it to secure in there is, since that's a cement block wall right there in the back, right? What you have to do now is you got to drill holes and put in 2 blue tapcon screws to secure it to the concrete. Now, for many of you, if you're doing this yourself and you don't have the right tools or the right drill bits, you're not going to be able to do this, because you need a concrete bit, which is what this is right here, and you have to drill the concrete hole there with this bit. You can't use a regular drill bit. You'll be sitting there spinning all day long and you'll never get it to go in, and you'll be wondering why. And then once you drill that hole, then you can secure it with like these blue tapcon screws. This is probably about the size you would need, nothing bigger. All right. So then once that's done, and you would then have to bond this metal box to the system ground by taking the ground wire when it comes in and running the ground screw like you've seen us do before. And then the other issue here about this is, if you look at this outlet box, for some reason they made the plugs on these wider than normal. So this is the romex connector here, right, that most people would probably have. This is the 3/8 one that fits most boxes. This will not work here for you because you can see it's too small for that opening. So unless you carry the larger size in your bag, you're going to come to a complete screeching halt, and you'll have to drive over to Home Desperate, several miles up the road most likely, and go buy the next size up to get this done. So, you know, the metal box always complicates things for you. Now, if we look back up here at the other box, this is the one we are going to use. This is the plastic one. What's cool about this is it's a narrow depth box, and because it's narrow, what they did was they make it a little wider, and there's a little cavern inside here. You can see there. And that's where you do all your wiring. Your wiring all gets shoved inside here. And the way this fits in is it just kind of goes in. We'll probably have to make the hole a little wider, but it just kind of fits in the side there, and it'll twist and go right into the hole there. Okay, so the way this will work is when we put it inside the wall here, this tab here will flip up once you start screwing in the screw here, and the bottom tab here will flip down. And what these will do is these will pinch against the back of the drywall here, and they will hold the outlet into place. So that's a lot easier than having to screw into the cement block here, and that's, you know, it's real difficult screwing into the cement block. Unless you have a good hammer drill, you're going to be really busting your butt, even with the concrete bit. So this is just a lot easier for the average guy who doesn't have like all of those extra tools and the drill bits and stuff. And this is nice and secure for you, so let's go ahead and get that done. A little bit. And the other benefit of using the plastic box here is we will not have to bond this to system ground. It's just a lot easier. We can just immediately start wiring this to the outlet once we get this screwed into place. Okay, so now we have it screwed into place here, and you can see it's nice and tight. It's not moving, it's not going anywhere. Now we can hook up the outlet. So, you know, of course my preference in a thing like this is always to use the metal. If I have the parts and everything here, I'll use the metal, but I'm showing you the plastic here just to show you both methods. Alright, so we've got our wires stripped, and I've looped the ground wire already to wrap around its screw on the outlet. The other two I'm going to leave straight, and I'll show you why. Because this outlet is one of my favorite types, where it's not backstabbing, but it is included with these two holes here that are called back wiring. And then as you start to screw in the screw here, it will tighten down on that wire there when you stick it in there. So this is not backstabbing. Do not confuse this with backstabbing. Backstabbing is bad, and I'll show you about that. So here's another type of an outlet that does allow backstabbing. So you see these holes here, there's one here and there's one there. Those are the backstabbing holes where you would push the wire in and it just kind of clicks into like a little crimping type connector or something in there. And those are bad. They're very unreliable. They tend to come apart. They tend to pull out. And sometimes because you don't have a very good connection, they will often trip the arc fault. They can, arc a little bit inside there. So that's why we don't like using these. And a lot of times when I see people doing the backstabbing, they don't even do the wiring right. They cut off too much insulation, so now you have 1/4 of an inch of the wire sticking out, which is, just not very good. Alright, so I'm going to start with the ground first here, and I always like to pinch down the loop. I'm trying to do this with one hand, sorry. Okay, so just squeeze it together like that, and that closes the loop. And now we'll use our screwdriver, and we'll just tighten it down. Let's do this. Okay, so that is now nice and tight on there. So now we'll take the white wire and we'll back wire it. And remember, let me just repeat again, this is not backstabbing, this is back wiring. Alright, so we're just going to put the white wire in just like that, right up to that point where the insulation stays right there up against the edge. You don't leave any metal showing out like this, like too many other crazy clowns that I always run into their work afterwards. It goes just like that. You see that? Nothing more, nothing less. Alright, now I don't know if you can see it, but as we turn the screw, see how it tightens down? It crimps up against the wire there. So the tighter you make it, the better it will be. And we're just going to do the same thing here. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. You can see how it comes in closer and closer to it to make it nice and tight. So here we are. You can see it's all wired correctly. The black wire always goes to the darker brass screw, and the white wire always goes to the lighter colored silver screw, and your ground always goes to here. And always make sure you're grounded. Try to have a ground in your outlet, okay? And also, if you don't have this type of outlet where I did the back wiring, you can do the black and white wires just like you saw me do the ground wire here. Just wrap it around the screw there and squeeze it tight and closed like that. Make sure that it wraps clockwise around the screw. Otherwise, when you tighten it, you'll end up unraveling the wire. The wire will have a tendency to want to open up and not stay closed. Alright, so now anybody that knows me, and you look at any of our other videos of dealing with electrical and outlets and stuff, I always like to use electrical tape here. And I wrap it around 2 or 3 times around all of the terminals here to cover them up, so that anybody coming in and working on them later can't get shocked if they ever touched an energized circuit. So what I do is I pull out the 2 screws that came with the outlet. There's one in this eyelet here, and there's another one that went in that eyelet over there. And that gives me access now so I can wrap the outlet all the way around 2 or 3 times unobstructed. Okay, so now you can see it's all wrapped up. Everything's nicely protected all the way around. There's really no way anybody's going to get shocked if they opened this up and started handling this. And I really like doing it this way. I wish more people would do this. Probably ought to be code. But yeah, the National Electric Code does not require this. Okay, so we're ready to lock this thing up and throw away the key. So I've put my screws back here, and they also come with that little, see that black plastic nut there? That kind of secures the screw into place, so that now you can hook your outlet up to the box. Now if you can see what I've done with the wiring here is I've done like a zigzag shape. Okay, and with the zigzag shape it allows you to fold the wiring back up like an accordion. So with one hand I should very easily be able to put that outlet right up to the box. If you're struggling and having to force it and fit it and you're jamming it, that's not the way to do it, because you can damage the internals of the outlet and not even know it. You'll put the whole thing together and find out later, oh, it's loose, something's not working right in there. So that's why you always want to very gently create a nice foldable accordion shape to your wiring. See that? So that'll go fit in nice and easy. So there we are now. Our outlet is all attached and we are just ready to screw on the outlet plate. And there is our plate all finished. So this outlet is completed here, and then if we just look up here, all we have to do is a little sanding here and some painting, and then we'll get this blank dummy plate over here covering that box so that we will not have a hidden junction. So I just wanted to remind you folks, if you find this video useful, please give us a thumbs up down below, and you can also go down below here and hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon after you hit the subscribe button so that you will be alerted every time we produce a new video and upload it for you. Just going to test the outlet first, so I'll put my little outlet tester in there. And you can see it goes on nice. Both LEDs are on, which means you've wired it correct. And you can see it right there on the front, on the very bottom there. It says correct wiring is when both of those LEDs are on and the other one is off. So this was a successful move of our outlet down to a more manageable height for our short refrigerator power cord. Okay, well you can see right here on the wall here next to me here, this is the old outlet, and it is now a legal National Electric Code approved junction box. This is not a hidden junction. And then down below here on the wall you can see this is where we moved the outlet to, see? So let's step back here and take a look at the entire thing. So here's the bottom of the refrigerator, and now we stressed that we have it tested all the way to the length of the electric cord here, the power cord for the refrigerator. And you can see that the refrigerator, I've got it now spaced about 2 feet away from the opening here, and I can still easily walk in. So this method here of wiring the refrigerator outlet further down the wall, moving this refrigerator outlet down the wall from the original outlet height, really left us with some good space here. This was just perfect. And so as you look on the wall there, you can see the outlet is maybe about 2 feet off the floor, and you can see further up the wall is where the other outlet used to be, which was probably a little bit over 5 feet tall, just way too tall for today's outlets here. And so as we kind of zoom back to kind of give you a perspective here, the reason why we ran into this issue to begin with was because we were using a full depth cabinet here over the refrigerator, which requires that you use a wall. And if you use a wall like this, I mean, this pretty much negates you being able to reach around behind the refrigerator to plug it in. That means you have to step around this way. And this makes for a much nicer looking kitchen anyway. This looks so much classier, having this wood panel wall here. So anyway, I hope you found this video useful. Good luck on your remodeling, and we will see you next week.